it's a beer podcast, not always about beer. So there's that.
Well, welcome to Florida's Drinking Report, brought to you by Sailfish Brewing Company. I'm your captain, Dave Boucher, joined again by my co-captain, Brian Tonneson.
Promotion. Hey-o!
And very happy to have on the podcast today with us Gabe Atkinson and Taylor Hacker.
MVPs.
Welcome, guys.
MVPs.
Welcome, guys.
Glad to be here.
Appreciate you guys being here today. So we're back to talking about beer again.
Man, isn't that great?
Podcast about beer.
Not that I don't mind the not about beer part, but I mean, I'm just like a lot better at the beer part. Captain Mike, God bless him. I mean, that was probably the most fun we've had on the. I could not contribute at all.
But you did in a very eloquent way. You listened a lot and added where you could.
Well, yeah, it's like he's looking at me like, when you're out there, I'm like, yeah, totally. That's just exactly what I do. Yeah.
Flux capacitor.
If he brought up beer, I'd be a totally different story. So I'm really loving today, and I'm loving the people that we have today, too.
No, it's really...
You think about the gears that keep this train moving, and you've got number one and number two right here with us.
No, for sure. So let's dive into it. What's everybody drinking today?
Well, I mean... no seasonal fatigue here. I think we're going to talk about this beer and a festival around it today. So this is Oktoberfest.
Nice. I got the hazy IPA.
Saving the turtles.
Saving the turtles.
I am stuck on hazy IPA myself. It is my flavor of the month.
I hope it's the flavor for the rest of the year, too.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying also another nice Oktoberfest margin. Great time of year to have it.
Have to be somewhat productive the rest of the day, too. So I really couldn't dive in anything over 5%.
Oh, come on. The rest of the day's done.
I mean, I could, but I won't.
You were just talking about a field trip after this to Second Street Bistro.
Because the thing is with this crew, we all get together, but typically it's like super early in the morning, We all break out like 3 in the rare occasion that we're like, call it after hours, like that 4 or 5 o'clock window. Somehow, some way, we all turn like 22 again, like, yeah! And I go, well, this is going to be the first podcast that has 2 locations. We start here, and then somehow we're grabbing the mics, and we're going right to 2nd Street. And that's
2nd Street or Cobb's, yeah.
2nd Street or Cobb's, yeah. And we're doing the same thing. And a couple light tackles Gabe's way. That's
just to interrupt for a second. Gabe, what is Gabe's way?
Yeah, so Gabe's way is, the light tackle with fresh lime squeezed in there.
Yeah.
And let it float and just drink it. It's so good.
So how did that start?
I just was drinking it one day, and I love lime and everything, so I decided to just add it in there, and it was a perfect combination.
That's indicative of people with red beards, by the way.
Yes, it is, yeah. It's in my family history.
I kind of scoffed at it at first.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing? We're in the craft beer business. Like, what are we doing? I had one light tackle Gabe's way. I was a changed man.
Yeah.
I was like, Dave, we got to bottle this up. LTLs, baby.
Yeah.
Light tackle with lime.
Man. Yeah, I love it. So
yeah.
Well, that's great. So, with both you guys on today, just an immense amount of experience and history in the industry, both on, restaurant side, beer side, sales side, a little bit of everything. You guys are probably some of the most well-rounded individuals I know in the craft beer scene. So, Taylor, let's kind of start with you. I know you had something to do with bringing, craft beer to the Treasure Coast when you moved back to the Treasure Coast area. But, where did you start your career at? What brought you back to the Treasure Coast? How did you bring craft beer to the Treasure Coast when you brought it back to this area?
I think that is a lot of credit given to me, undue. So I worked at a lovely little restaurant called Hurricane Grill and Wings, and shout out to Howard Steinberg and Al Beltran and Kristen, who were incredible in the craft beer scene back in I think 2011 when I started out there, and there was not tons of craft beer, and it wasn't really well done here in Vero. We had a couple of craft beer bars, but they weren't doing a good job of having a good selection, keeping it fresh, keeping the craft taps rotating.
And how much local craft did you have at that time?
At that time, it wasn't extremely local. Sailfish wasn't distributing yet at a large. We had a couple different. Mike Sturgis was one of my regulars there. And
shout out to Mike.
Yeah, Sturge. So we always had something Sailfish on. In the early days, we always had a directed Sailfish line. But we had any local brewery that had something available, we had it on. But we had 18 rotating craft taps that we kept product, and it was a lot of hype back then. It was always keeping the coolest stuff from everywhere going, and I fell in love with craft beer.
Yeah, and a lot of those places, like you mentioned too, when during that time, say 2013, 14, the beer you guys got, there's a few places you sent beer to as a local craft brewery. Hurricanes was like one of the number ones you sent it to. So everything you got was special because it was all just what we had to give you at the time. And everybody suffered through our growing pains, and beer got better. And
So there was a beer that Sailfish made back in the day, and still has every year. We usually put it out. It's called Elderberry Cucumber. It is a kettle sour, and I purchased every keg that Southern Eagle had available after we tried
and they
it.
had like 5 probably.
But my fridge couldn't fit 5 kegs, and that was Joe Rappaport was my sales rep at the time, and he said, "Where do you plan on putting the kegs?" And I said, "It's not an issue. Let's just send them, and we're going to sell them." We loved Sailfish, and that was the beer for me that made me fall in love with the brand.
It was just, at that time too, it was like so great because there was nothing that was a miss. Anything that the excitement level was so high. Yeah, I mean, you're talking cucumber and elderberry. I don't know if I would order one of those now. But in 2011, give me 8 of them.
Yeah,
no sweat. You're going to burn through those 5 kegs in a minute.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, it's so funny.
So, Gabe, on to you.
Yeah, what's going on?
We're on a podcast today talking about beer and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah,
I think you were a guest today, so.
This is the most silent it's been for Gabe. Like, we've been here for 8 minutes now. He's not put out a single fire. He's not jumped in the kitchen to make a pizza.
No, this is like relaxing kind of.
He's having a beer. It's like the most silence he's had in a very long time.
So, both you and Taylor are originally from the Treasure Coast.
Yep.
Taylor, Vera Beach, Fort Pierce.
Fort Pierce, baby.
So tell us about that, your maturation. I mean, you've been in this industry for a long time as well, too. Been on multiple sides of the industry as well.
Yeah, so I started in the hospitality industry in 9th grade, with Big Apple Pizza. Scott Van Duzer, shout out to him. Was there for like 4 years and just moved on. I never got out of it. But, I was at Island Rada Beer Company for a while as well.
That's how we met.
That's how me and Brian met at Island Rada. Brian used to show up in either his personal car or his work van because we couldn't get the beer to him, so he had to come pick it up, we'd load it down with 20 kegs. Yeah,
it's a lot of OSHA violations broken in a previous career.
He would just sit there for 2 hours until I could get to him, and then, overall, I think, about 90% of my life has been in this industry, and it's one of the most satisfying industries to be part of, honestly, to see the people that come in here put a smile on their face, take care of them, make them happy, and leave with a good tasting beer and good food as well. So it's pretty exciting.
I equate one of the cool things about Sailfish is the culture that existed when I walked in the door. I always say like this was a moving train that I was jumping on, and just hopefully I didn't screw it up. But the one of the cooler things that was so attractive to me in my first couple weeks here is that the culture here is it's cool to care. And both you and Taylor carry that torch, because I've been in places where it's like, if you're a go-getter and you're like, well, look at this guy, look at this try hard. Like in here, it's like, that's freaking cool. Let's go. Like you've got a whole crew in here decorating for Halloween. You got a whole crew decorating here for Christmas. The block people are hyped for it. And it's, I don't know. I think that's something that, you can't pay for it. There's no price tag on that.
And everybody's always somewhat amazed of how we have that, and we're sitting next to the 2 people that are responsible for that. First off, with Taylor, she's always exhibited that hard work ethic mentality.
For
and then
sure.
her team underneath her, both Gabe and Tori specifically, I mean, you guys just exhibit exactly everything that Taylor is, and you're an extension of her. And, that's the reason we have the culture we have.
Yeah, she's amazing. She really is. She, coming from all different types of restaurants and backgrounds and stuff, but coming here and actually working next to
loves
Taylor.
To hear people talk about her.
Like, you guys are just going to sit here and make me blush. I thought we were here to talk about beer.
I swear we had from Emily's podcast to Taylor's podcast.
But, she's awesome, man. Just kudos to Taylor for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a fantastic team. That goes without being said. It's Gabe's way. We know that. We already know.
So a regular team with a twist of lime.
That's it. Yes, absolutely.
So Gabe's a twist of lime. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So both of you guys, I mean, are big members and contributors in the community. I mean, Taylor specifically with Sailfish. You and Al, you guys did a lot of great things in the very early on days. Bringing Gabe. Gabe's somewhat the unofficial mayor of Fort Pierce some days.
No, he is.
true,
Yeah,
Unelected.
Yes.
Yeah. You know a little bit of everybody.
Born and raised,
Born and
1991,
raised.
Longwood, baby.
Yeah, every time I
Let's
go somewhere, like, Gabe? I'm like, yes, I know Gabe.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, and it even happens out in the retail trade. I went to a Walmart one time putting out a fire, and like 8 people like, hey, you're not Gabe. Like, no, I'm not. Thanks for letting me know. But it's like, you would think like a huge retailer like that, they all knew him by name,
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's born and raised, man. 33 years here, pretty much.
And it goes like beyond like Sailfish sometimes. Like they start talking about him in Cub Scouts.
Yeah. It was funny because the other day on Sunday, me and the family, my wife and the kids, we went to go get lunch. And as soon as we walked into the restaurant, literally 3 people come right up to me. Hey, what's up, man? How are you? And I looked at my wife and I was like, I promise when we get to Walmart, no one's going to know me. Swear, park the car. Here comes my buddy Wade. His dad's a Mud Club member here too. But here comes, what, Gabe? What's going on, man? Hey, you want to go fishing? Wait, I'm going grocery shopping right now. But, it's just crazy, man. I love Fort Pierce. I love the town. So I'm glad to be part of it.
It loves you back, pal.
Yeah, definitely does. Definitely does. So, beyond the fact that you guys have spent a good portion of your career on the hospitality side, you guys have both spent time in sales to some degree, right? So I go back to the well-rounded aspect. You've seen all aspects of it. And I know Taylor specifically, you've done pretty much everything at Sailfish in some degree or another since
Except
you've been
for
here.
the beer.
One time.
One time.
Was that a good beer?
Yeah.
What did you brew?
Fruity Booty pale ale. We had an entire tap room
What?
brew day. Yeah, it was before you. I'm so sorry. But the
We
whole
need to
front
make
of
that
house.
happen again.
They
Yeah.
picked the beer. They named the beer. They came up with it. They went back and had a brew day. It was incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
That
it
is
was a lot
cool.
of fun.
Yeah.
No, and it's just, the tap rooms, it's the first impression to anybody to the beer. Whether you have been following us for years or your first time coming in here, this is the first impression anybody gets of Sailfish and the beer. And that goes for any establishment, any brewery out there. It's the first impression. And then carrying that forward into the market and how that transcends on the sales side of things. You guys are both in sales in some capacity or another, and just seeing that aspect, the festivals you all worked. I mean, it's everything. And that, kind of leads into what we're talking about today with, the extension of your guys' experience and what you have coming up. What are some of the, call it the, not say underbelly, but the things people don't know what goes into putting events on and how difficult that is. and we've been doing events for a long time. And Taylor's smirking at me right now.
And I'll retort with that. You guys make it look effortless. But then you look at like a drone shot, and then this looks like the San Gennaro Festival.
Yeah,
Do you know?
it's this is Taylor's reign. I never had big block parties like this until I started working at Sailfish, and I can tell you, I still remember the first time I ever did an event here, and it was a long 24 hours for me. So, but Taylor's the queen at it. So
Bring multiple changes of
Clothes, yeah.
different shoes.
Baby
and
powder.
Baby-
And,
lots of baby
prepared,
powder.
man. Yeah,
Lots of
absolutely.
baby powder, yes.
Eat fruit.
eat fruit, stay hydrated.
That's it, yeah.
Because you're in for a long run.
It's all the back of a T-shirt
Yeah.
for like Taylor's team.
And there is-
7 list.
That's the
number
staff.
number 7. Eat fruit.
But
Years
go ahead.
ago, we started actually putting out a food spread for all the staff because they have to eat regularly throughout the day in order to keep up. And that's
Right.
like one of the number one things that we learned was like add fruit to the table, like because they'll actually eat it, but like it helps them.
Right.
Yeah, eat
Yeah.
fruit, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for-
So how does that sausage get made? Because I, for one, I've shown up just
Just
part
to
of the
attend.
team, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty. I was just here like 8 hours ago. This is this is like Willy Wonka. How does that sausage get made? Like, what do you have to go through to get to that point to get something so like iconic?
So when I came into Sailfish, we had a really great platform already. We started out with two, Al Beltran and Caitlin Carmichael, and they were at the Yellow House and came over here to the downtown, and they really trained me and taught me how to do events, how to make it bigger, how to make it better, and how to continue it every time.
Right.
And so like one of our great events is Oktoberfest. And
Yes.
Okay, so Oktoberfest is coming up. It's on top of our mind right now.
when is that? October?
October 12th.
12th,
Thank you
yes.
very much. So second Saturday in October. And back in the day, it was a great party at the Yellow House, and they shut down in front of it, and it was amazing.
Right.
And now we shut down from Orange Ave all the way down to Tickle Tummy Hill. We go from the train tracks down to the roundabout. We've got multiple stages going on. We've got Oktoberfest games. Like it just kind of has grown.
Evolved,
Over the years as we kind of got better about bringing in people and more collaborative efforts with different businesses. So now we've got Bottoms Up Public House involved. Second
great.
Street Bistro is our like super long-term partner in all of these events. And we've kind of started putting aces in their places. Right? And we're not trying to clean everything ourselves and be the one there. Gabe's kind of, I saw that shrug. We're trying. But, it really is a 8 p.m. night before to 3 a.m. the next morning, and another team's in that Sunday. And
Wow.
Yeah, it's putting it on paper and making a plan and then following the plan.
Yeah, making sure that the parking spots are blocked off.
Blocked
You're shutting
off,
off the
yeah.
entire
I
street.
never-
and-
yeah.
Oh, that was
And
so
then
funny last year.
swept.
That was the greatest social media post we ever had. Like a single car right in front of the brewery. Hi there, this is your vehicle.
We will
You
have the party around
1
you.
hour and 30 minutes, and we're gonna build this shit around you.
My first block party, obviously it was Oktoberfest, but Taylor's like, hey, yeah, we got to close the street down. I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, let's just put the barricades up.
Right.
She's like, no, sweetheart, like, we have to block all the parking spots off. And I'm like, what? And I said, we started at like 10 o'clock. I think we didn't finish till 1:30, 2 a.m. finally. But yeah, no.
You're just sitting there behind the car, swinging a cone. All
Yeah,
right, you
just
ready to go home?
go home.
I will tell you, the next team arrives after that 2 a.m. The next team comes in at 5 a.m. and
5
starts
a.m.
sweeping the street and the
Wow.
parking spaces to
Yeah.
prep for that party. And then the next team that's cleaning those spots the next day at 5 a.m. to make sure this place is ready to go. We want to leave downtown better than we found it.
That's awesome.
Every time.
Yeah, it's a process, but it's all worth it for sure.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
So, your guys' time in the industry, doing these events, being part. What's changed, good and bad? What have you guys seen? The evolution of just craft beer in general, translating to events. Obviously, to the point on the event side, you guys have it down to a damn science. It's really dialed in. But just in general, you guys seen different people show up to events, different demographics, age groups, those types of things. What's the changes you guys have seen?
So I'll be a little controversial in
Go ahead.
my topic. So I would definitely say that I am a craft beer event traveler. Like I like to go all different places, and so I remember back in like 2011 going to Asheville for it was Asheville Craft Beer Week, and I went to like the rarest and wildest, right? And like
Right.
you talk about like cool beers.
Oh, those things are like life changing. I went to Epic Brewing Company in Denver during CBC, like 2010 or 2000, one of the 2000s. They're all kind of blurring together now, but it was the night of 50 firkins. And they just had 50
Whoa,
firkins, like 25.
that's awesome.
Like all different. I'll never forget it.
That's
I
cool.
think I left with acute pancreatitis.
And but those events for me and the places that we traveled all over for and all of those things, they were so solely based off of the beer.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I was going everywhere, and for that sweet potato casserole, like that was the beer.
That was the
Well, I
one.
remember the first one I went to was the Yazoo, not the first one. One of the best ones I went to was Yazoo Sourfest. I don't
Right.
think Sour Festival was called, but it was based around the barrel aged, sour program they had.
Right.
And every table, you had just bowls of Tums. I probably popped about 24 Tums that day just to avoid the bubble gut that comes from wild yeast aged sours.
So that's my issue, is that I love barrel aged anything, and
Right.
specifically barrel aged sours, and so I just always feel sick afterwards.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah.
But for you, it was like these were beer centric events versus.
So these were beer centric. I
Right.
loved them, and like travel and great everything.
Right.
But now I definitely both see in the event trends and myself, like what I'm looking for is things going on around the beer. It's
Right.
not only the beer. Like we have a lot of really great beer right here.
Right.
And so I don't have to go.
It doesn't have to be, hey, we've got an Oktoberfest with peaches in it.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I know. I just thought of the grossest thing I could have thought.
Hi.
Peaches, of all things,
Thank
Brian.
you. Destroying two great things.
Right.
But so much of
Together at last.
it's more what I'm doing while I'm there and like engaging in things. So
Right.
that's something that I would say has changed in the industry.
What I've noticed as not only as an employee, but just as a person who loves to go to these things, there's a lot more families now than
Yes.
there
Yes.
ever
That
has
was my
been.
topic
It
on
used to be a bunch. I didn't stick out like a sore thumb at those events. Heavyset dude with beards, bragging about beer, talking about beer, and now it's like there's a lot of families. There's strollers. I think at times the bounce house is more popular than the bar.
Well, I think
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much of it's the That's what we're looking for. You feel somewhat afraid to go into something you're not really familiar with. So
Right.
craft beer, I mean, I go back to when we started Sailfish, I remember having to drive the people from the city of Fort Pierce down to Tequesta to show them what a brewery was.
Right.
Because no one would know what it actually was. They thought
Right.
it was a biker bar or something like that. I remember that specifically.
Yeah.
And you're exposing something to people that they never had exposure for, being the first brew in the Treasure Coast, and like that evolution comes with people becoming more familiar with it,
Right.
And their palates change. You go back to White Marlin, the gateway beer to craft drug, the gateway drug to craft beer. I always call that. Is that
You're reading Brew Brown lately. It is craft drug these days.
But speaking of articles too, I was reading an article the other day. I think I forwarded to both you guys about the beer collectors are starting to go away. Now it's the experience.
It's all about the experience.
That's something that I've seen you guys focus on tremendously. For everything you got to do is delivering that great experience for every event you guys put on, and it goes back to the reason families are there. It's the bounce houses, all those different types of things that are there to appeal to everybody.
Right, and that's the truth. Obviously, I can tell you from all the block parties that we put on, they're probably the safest, cleanest block party that you see here, and families know that, and they know Sailfish as a place where they come daily or weekly with their families, so they know when we throw these events, they can bring their kids, they can bring their cousin's mother, whatever, and have a great time. So it's
Who's related to Gabe?
Right.
I love each other's cousins' brothers. Gabe's has about 55 cousins in his area as well.
Yeah, that's why I always say cousins. Yeah.
Well, he paid the biggest trick on us. One of the anniversary parties, his brother was working here, and he was yeah. Like he's like, I'm right over there, and I looked. I'm like, oh my god, that guy looks just like you.
Yeah, that's my brother.
He'll be here for Oktoberfest as well.
Yeah.
It's great because people walk up. We look identical. We're not. He's actually an identical twin. I'm just the youngest one. But people came up to him that were customers and stuff, and we're like, "Hey, Gabe, where's the trash can at?" And he's like, "I'm not Gabe. Like I'm the older brother."
With that exact
Gabe's
facial
not here,
expression.
Yeah. So what we did the last block party was at St. Patrick's Day, right? We wore the same shirt outfit. And we were just rolling through the thing, and people were just kept going. Even his own wife was like, "Andy," and I said, "No, it's Gabe." It was funny. So we had a good time with it.
Oh, there's nothing quite like that. That's incredible.
Yeah. So yeah.
No, the other thing of note that I've noticed here too, certainly for the events and even some of the beer releases or like the fun, it is a vast variety of age groups. Beer Olympics, I'm still blown away by that. That there was a team of people in their 60s, 70s, and
Taylor's
80s.
idea, by the way.
60s, 70s, and 80s winning the damn thing.
Oh yeah.
I was the anchor for one of the teams was 80.
Yeah.
Dude, Howie's
And
no
he
joke.
was practicing a month ahead of time too.
You better
Practicing.
believe it.
I remember how he came to the bar. He's like, "Hey, I got down the pizza boxes. I can do 8 in," I forgot what he said, 2 minutes or something like that. And I said, "Damn, Howie," I said, "You're doing great." But all the month before, as soon as we announced it, that man started practicing.
That's so uncommon.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
really uncommon.
You don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
Howie's prepared.
he was.
I mean,
Big time.
kudos to all them. They all showed
Absolutely.
up.
Like the fear I had walking in here, where people were in costume, and there was the idea that Dave, Emily, and I were going to be on a team. It's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm not 22 anymore. Like my competitive.
The sad thing
drink-
is, we probably came in last place.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, trying to fold a pizza box. I mean,
The
I can
12
just see
we
Emily
would've
yelling at us, and you were just trying to do the best we
smoked it
can.
in the 12-pack packing thing.
No,
Oh,
the
yeah, for
pizza
sure,
box.
yeah.
The pizza box was the hardest.
That was a
thing.
bottleneck for everybody.
We'd
They all
still
know that, yeah.
We'd still be making them.
And we wanted it to be as tall as the shortest person on the team.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Right? I know. Hey, that would have been awesome,
Right.
but we knew it would have been a little too
it would have been
long
2
for 'em.
hours for
Yeah.
one.
The other
team.
remarkable thing too, they were all playing flip cups in Beer Olympics
Yes.
and doing it like
Like champs.
Dude, that first
The
team
hard
that
way.
went,
Yeah.
every single one
no,
dialed
they
in.
Yeah.
popped them about 30 feet in the air and they landed.
You know,
You've never seen
I
that.
think that there's a lot of credit here for culture and for how great this place is. We got to give a lot of that to our mug club, to
Right,
be quite
for
honest.
sure, 100%.
We've
Cheers to
got
the
a
Mug
lot
Club.
a lot
Yeah.
of them that have been here since day one. Our OG mug club members, those frosted mugs. I mean, absolute kudos and thank you very much to them for every single time you have walked in our
No,
doors.
this is the reason. They're the main reason for our success and
Yeah,
getting us to this
absolutely.
point. I mean, having that faith to stay with us over the years, and and just being there for us,
Yeah.
unapologetically just there, and it was just really nice to see that.
Yeah,
And
was
continue to
great.
see that,
Yeah,
and-
we
and-
saw it last night too. So
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
were excited
They're
last
a
night.
wild group.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's right. You guys tested out Music Bingo last night.
Yeah, we did. It was fun. Rusty was in charge video.
I
That's
saw
his
that,
mud
yeah.
club.
Yeah.
He had it so organized. He bought all his gifts off Temu. So
Oh,
there was random stuff. Like there was what they could win was a fan you could plug into your phone so you could cool off. There was a fake knife that you could stab yourself with. Acting knife.
Oh, those are
bubble gun.
great.
A bubble gun. Yeah.
They're so amazing.
And they went crazy for it all. So it made me realize, I'm like, oh, this is what we can do for prizes now. All right, sounds good.
Where you gotta go is Five Below.
I love Five Below.
Yeah.
Because we do this thing at Christmas every year where we have good. It's kind of like White Elephant,
Yep.
but not really. It's a whole Christmas movie game, but you have a good gift and a bad gift. You don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So like one of them was like sardines and like kale crackers.
Oh, God.
And one of them was like a Game Boy that had 600 games. But at Five Below, we found it was a legit painting, hand painted, of a cat with curlers in. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life, and like. When someone opens that and the look of horror on their
Yes.
face, there is nothing better than that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That
That's a great
is
gift.
great. That's
Yeah.
an awesome idea.
Yeah.
It's just you
It
find
is.
all sorts of, and it's all $5.
There will be
yeah.
a new round for
Yeah.
bingo.
Wrap gifts, and it's like you go in there, and it's like it could be a gift card, it could
Dude,
be
yes.
a lobster on a leash.
It's amazing.
You don't know.
Yes. We have one of our bingo prizes when you spin the wheel. It's a round of applause.
Applause,
It's my
yeah.
favorite one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone chants. We have one now, so it's like free round of beers for the table. So everyone goes crazy for that one.
Bingo is oddly the most like you want to say pickleball is huge in Florida. It's bingo.
Bingo, yeah. Oh, especially
It's bingo.
especially with our bingo crowd. Like they come here to win our stuff. They don't win cash. They don't win a trip to Disney.
And bingo
They-
starts at it used to start at 6, right?
It used to start
Oh, yeah.
at 6.
People would get here at 4 o'clock to start reserving tables.
Reserve a
David and I are
table,
solving
yeah.
the world's problems on a Monday, and all of a sudden this woman goes, "Are you guys finished? We're leaving anytime soon." It's like 3:30.
That
Like,
sounds about right. I
yeah.
know who that is. So
It's his aunt.
yeah. But no, it's just awesome to see it. They're like even $10 house cash, or the biggest one is obviously our merch. Everybody screams for a hat or a shirt. That's all it is, and like it's awesome. It's cool. It's a good time.
That's killer.
Yeah.
All right, so we do what, 4 events a year?
Yes. Right.
Well,
No.
kind of Halloween, right? So,
Well, that's
St. Patrick's Day.
What day is
anniversary
Night of the
party,
Thirsty Dead?
Oktoberfest.
And then
October
the beer
28th.
mile and
Okay.
the toasted coast.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking about block parties, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we do a lot
Oh,
more
yeah,
events.
yeah,
than
yeah. We do a
that,
lot
yeah.
more.
Yeah, I
I
got
mean,
you.
there's
But
so
block
many
parties, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Toast on the Treasure Coast coming up next week.
Yep.
Yes.
Next Wednesday.
Awesome event to come to. The food's amazing. I mean, we have about 12 different restaurants in here.
We've got 10 restaurants.
Sorry.
That's
Taylor, please
that's
tell
right.
me
Let me
yes.
jump on.
I don't wanna try
Toasted
to
Treasure
explain
Coast.
things.
Thank you.
I'm always wrong, so yeah.
It is on Wednesday, the September 25th. This will be our 5th year hosting this event. New name this year. Previously, it's been Fall Flavors, Summer Sensations. We're always evolving to make it a little better. This year, we've got 10 teams competing, so it'll be 10 restaurants.
And new restaurants.
New restaurants. Yep, we've got some switching up. We've got each restaurant is paired with a brewery, a winery, or a cidery that is on the Treasure Coast Wine and Ale Trail. My favorite part of this is that it is a fundraiser, and 100% of the funds raised, all the proceeds actually go to the Treasure Coast Food Bank.
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah, September is the month for
Hunger Action Month.
Hunger Action Month.
Thank you very much.
Month,
Yeah.
I know like little bits of what's going on
Yeah.
half the time, and she's like, "Oh yeah, here's the details." So yeah.
And
It's 'cause they
I
have it
talk
covered,
about
What's
you know,
that?
Because they
do-
have it 100% covered.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's about. We're very fortunate the
Yeah.
fact they have 100% covered, and then after that, the beer mile coming up.
Yep.
Beer Mile. So this year we've partnered with the Loggerhead Marine Center.
Go
which-
hazy. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. To that. Great beer.
Yes.
I'm not drinking it, but it's
sorry.
great beer.
Drink. Thank you. So, this year, that is going to be on Sunday, November 10th. You're going to run a mile through beautiful downtown Fort Pierce, and you're going to drink 4 beers along the way. Gabe's going to do a 5K that day.
Yeah,
It'll be timed.
I think the Bear Mile is probably one of the coolest events that the Treasure Coast ever seen. So, like the fact that all these people come to run 1 mile,
Like
drink
500
beer.
people.
But you know,
500 people. Yes.
I've done so earlier in life. Did a lot of those types of race events, and the people they want things to be catered to them when you're out there. But this thing, everybody's so just like easy going. I mean, it's a mile run. You drink a beer every quarter mile. We typically feel the beers up higher than they typically should be.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only
How
complaint
many
you get.
years
Is
has
like,
it poured rain? Just like down.
oh, I'd say at least 75% of the races have been in rain.
But they still show
That's
up.
that-
still show up.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's on
They don't
YouTube
care.
of me in my Donkey Kong costume
Yes.
dancing
Yeah.
in
I
the
mean-
rain. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's.
That was a great slow.
I keep calling Beer Mile the fun run. I don't know why. I call it the fun run day because it's fun. There's
is.
some people in costume. There's some people who take it like
No, and then we
so,
have
yeah.
the timer set up, so there's real-time results, there's medals, there's
Yeah.
awards, there's T-shirts. It's all the stuff you would get when you run a 5K or a 10K, whatever it is.
And it's another good
With
one
beer.
that goes to a good cause. So that's
No,
why
for
it's
sure.
even cooler. So
Yeah, no, it's
incredible.
exciting.
Yeah.
So that kind of rounds out the year. Obviously, the big one coming up, Oktoberfest, which we're all excited about, and shutting down 2nd Street.
I'm so sorry. Did you catch what I caught?
yeah, did he say that rounded out?
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Night of the
A
Thirsty
Bull.
Dead.
I
Yes.
completely
yeah,
I
come
skipped
on.
over that because the beer
'Cause
miles in the
this is
back.
like
we
of the
have
awkward.
exciting news about the Night of Thirsty Dead.
Oh,
never,
please.
Hey.
never done before. Taylor is dressed. No, I'm just kidding. But
Dave
we
and I
He's
have-
have
dressed up in the past.
Dave
we
and I have
have-
costumes for this year.
Yeah. we do.
October
Yeah.
26th, and we are doing dueling pianos in the middle of the road. It's
the
going to be
stage?
on. Say that again.
No, you're right.
Yeah, on Marina Way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Oh my God.
On a stage right here where Cobb's can come because Cobb's part of it as well.
Yeah.
And we'll have a speaker going down 2nd Street, Marina Way, and yeah.
So for our listeners that don't know,
No,
maybe
yeah.
we've got 5 bars and restaurants that participate. It is a pub crawl. You buy a ticket and you are automatically entered to win a costume contest that we have. We've got judges that go around and nominate people at each location. So with your ticket purchase, you actually get a free drink at each location, and then if you are nominated for the final contest,
You could win.
You get on stage. We've got a top 20. It gets down to the top 3, and there's $5,000.
To win. And
The
I think
cra-
we're
and
sitting
the costumes are amazing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
level of costumes. You think you're on a movie set sometimes.
Yeah,
And most of
it-
these costumes are all handmade. I mean,
Absolutely.
The couple that's won a couple times. I mean, I've seen pictures of them. It's like
Yes.
the one was that the movie Thor.
Yes,
he
and he had
replicated.
like lasers coming out of his eyes.
He
was
was
amazing.
12 feet tall.
He was 12 feet tall. His thing was full metal.
I
Kind
mean,
of.
the costume probably cost him $10,000 to
To
make,
make.
but
and they had,
It's just the
they had
point,
an
yeah.
entire
Both
group
strategy
costume.
yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
And the he was telling me that day he came and changed in here because he couldn't obviously put it in his car and wear it here.
Yeah.
So he changed here and he's like, yeah, this took me about 3 months. 3 solid months of straight
that's
working on
crazy.
this costume.
It's
Amazing.
incredible
It's
what
wild.
these people come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But $5,000 in prizes. Sorry, I didn't finish that. 3 different levels. You should come and dress
Yeah,
up.
dress
and if you
up.
don't dress up, come and watch.
Come and watch and
Oh.
enjoy some music. We'll have DJs everywhere.
everybody's super excited to be there. It's typical everything you expect on a Halloween event, and this, like I said, the costumes are amazing to see.
Yeah,
Dueling
it-
pianos on the street is going to be
is-
something
Oh,
that
that's
Fort
gonna
Pierce
be
has never seen.
Seen before
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
it's gonna
they
be
get
pretty amazing.
down too.
Yeah.
They know how to throw a show. We do it inside our tap room a lot, and we're packed. It's elbow to elbow, so
Yeah.
can't wait to see it on the street.
So are Brian and I emceeing that thing still? Or did you guys kick us out of that point?
Yeah, I think you guys are just
You guys
judges.
are
Oh, man.
just
No.
judges.
No.
just judges. You guys are one of the judge team.
Yes.
Like the
Oh,
most
that is an
important
honor.
people
That is an
at the
honor.
event.
Gotcha.
Are you kidding me?
Not a problem.
Which means you don't have to
So
actually
disappointed
do
now.
the check-in this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
Check-in was painful.
Yeah, you had a good time. You were with the male nurse, if you don't recall.
I do remember that, yes.
If you
Yeah, I
don't
do remember that.
Couple beers in.
He's still waking up in the middle of the night for that one.
Yeah, that guy, that
But,
male nurse was rough.
Going back to the events, we were out there till 1:30 in the morning cleaning up
Yeah.
that night.
Mhm.
I mean, there's
At
so much
least
that,
that night, yeah.
people don't see with these events, and the cleanup's everything's difficult to put these things on. The cleanup's probably the most challenging one. You worked all day, and now let's go clean the street up, put everything back inside. There's a lot that goes into this stuff that, people, we've been doing these events, and since we kind of started taking over, shutting down 2nd Street, making it more of a block party, it should be something that the city puts on, but we spearhead that. As
Right.
much as we have great partners like 2nd Street, Cobb's, Public House, great partners to help out with it. I mean, we are the catalyst behind these
Yeah.
events. And I'm not trying to be
Bring in-
boastful behind that, but it's like reality.
No, agreed.
And it's the city helps out where they can, but reality wise, is we're the ones that do it. And it is nice to see that the repetitiveness, consistency with Oktoberfest, with St. Patrick's Day, we put these on.
Right.
It's not, but everybody knows that you can come down to downtown Fort Pierce. There's an event going on around that holiday, and
I know people that plan their entire year around on like if they're going to go on vacation or not, just to attend our block party. So that's a cool honor to have and feel. That's pretty cool. So obviously they mean something, but definitely agree. Like it's a lot of work to put them on.
I'll tell you too, the other businesses, like small businesses around downtown Fort Pierce, not just including our partners, which have been great, but we have a lot of small businesses that have been contributing in really big ways for what we're doing too. Notions and Potions, Burl over there.
Yeah, Burl's awesome. Man, shout out to Burl.
She's been handling our vendor village for years, and just really takes so much of a burden off of what we do here to be able to. Right. From getting them scheduled, signed up, handling them day of to checkout. That's an insane partner to be able to have.
It's awesome.
Even just our friend Rob from Last Dragon Tattoo, he's been at probably I think every block party for the last 7 years.
Yeah. Right.
He has had an active participation.
He always has a tent.
He always has a tent, and that's incredible. I can't say that about every single business.
No, even like the car shows, like those are mightily impressive too. What's that?
Sensitive subject.
So that's Fort Pierce.
That's your heart.
That's that controversial.
Yeah.
We can cut that part out.
So I'm gonna.
We miss you, car show. Come back to downtown Fort Pierce.
Please come back. Let's go.
Brief intermission. We need to refill some beers. So
Okay.
Brian, can you hand me a light tackle, please?
Yes. I don't know why I took my headphones. Take me down, pass it around. Anybody else?
Thank you, ma'am.
LT.
Everybody on 3, crack it open. Once we have all of the beer. Oh, Taylor, you still have a beer. I'm sorry.
I still have a beer. I am actually
1,
working
2,
today.
3. Love that sound.
Love that sound.
I don't know why I did that.
Coming soon, light tackle with lime. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what.
Put a picture of me.
It's pretty dangerous having it it's pretty dangerous having a draft at Cobb's and now cans at Little Jim's.
Yeah.
It's I've put down quite a few of those in the past weeks. So yeah.
It's remarkable how many you could put down.
It goes fast.
Yeah.
That's what the scary part is.
My goal is to make this the Cove beer, and
Yeah.
that's where it's going.
It should go there. It definitely will.
Yep.
It'll happen.
So speaking of light tackle, like in this building particularly, you've seen that migration from white marlin to like lagers. Like when did that start happening in here?
White marlin to lager. So white marlin is still it's still our number one.
Number one here in the Fort Pierce tap
So
room.
there, you might have like a week or a day where you can actually see lager be number one, but
Right.
90% of
It's
White Marlin is the beer of Fort Pierce.
That's what it is. And people, even first timers that come through here, they're like, hey, they'll try the lager, they'll try the light tackle, they'll try the
Right.
Sunrise City. And then they go to White Marlin like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll take that. And then next thing you know, they're hooked. They're buying a 6-pack or 2
Right.
6-packs, out the door.
that's really encouraging. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's the first beer, really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, people love White Marlin.
That's the beer that had the most presence when we first started, and the most reception in the area as far as being the first craft beer people had exposure to.
Yeah.
And that was like like I said, I always say the
that was
gateway
my
drug
first.
to
That
craft-
was my first craft beer.
Yeah.
Was White Marlin, back when you guys first opened up down the street.
And it wasn't even on the original,
I think-
the first menu.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, whenever it actually came out, that's when I started drinking craft beer, and that's what opened me up. I had some in the past, but that was the one that I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Well, and that's a great point too. What I was trying to say earlier is craft beer is so unapproachable sometimes because people are like they kind of generalize all of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't drink craft beer.
Exactly.
Well, have you tried different versions of it?
Right.
And that was just something once they and there's a certain what am I trying to say? There's a certain sense of accomplishment when someone say, "Wow, I can drink a craft beer now." When they have White Marlin, light tackle, lager, more things that are approachable that you may or may not think you can do.
Yeah, and that's why
it's not all IPAs.
Educating them and telling them, what different types you have, and giving them the opportunity to be able to sample it instead of just say, "I don't like craft beer," is pretty great, and that's why I love the tap room. So.
Early on in learning about craft beer, I was taught to identify flavors more than it was just like the beer, because people would say,
Right.
"Oh, I don't like craft beer," and you're like, "Do you love blueberries?
Right.
Do you like biscuits? do you like bubble gum? Like, we can absolutely find a flavor profile that works for you, and whether that's, an adjunct that we're adding or just like the flavor profile of a yeast strain,
Right.
or a different grain that's used. If you like coffee, like let me introduce you to Triggerfish Porter. Like
Right.
there are flavors that everyone can fall in
That's
love
an
with.
excellent way to kind of talk about the culinary aspect of it, versus trying to educate on a style, talking about what it actually tastes like. I've always felt that was a little bit more important, talking about, okay, it's bitter. What kind of bitterness? Is it citrus bitterness? Is it like grassy bitterness? Is it pine bitterness?
Absolutely.
When you're talking about that. So it's a little less, it's power of persuasion. Someone goes, oh, you're not going to like that. It's bitter.
Yeah.
And then they have a sunrise sitting going, it's not near, it's more grapefruity. How much grapefruit do you put in it? None.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Yeah, absolutely.
I always say a lot. It's like, yeah, man, there's a lot in there, Yeah. It's like, oh, man, we love this. I'm like, keep buying it. That's fine. No,
And then, this is just something, I don't know if this is like indicative of Florida, but and also we have so much beer to go. It's really neat. Do you find your team filling less and less growlers or crowlers every year? Or are you still pumping those out like on the regular?
Yeah, so, I mean, definitely. It's gone down. It has declined. There's not many people that come in and like, hey, I'm gonna fill my growler, or they want a crowler. But it's definitely slowed down. They look more forward to like the package of come over to the retail side and grab a 6-pack, because honestly, 99% of our customers, they come here, they drink our beers, our specialty releases on draft here, and then they get their favorite beer, their core, that they can get all year round and take it home. So I think I'm starting to see more of that than I am seeing people actually fill up, low vis or, something, or not low vis, but like Oktoberfest or, one of the ones that we don't offer in package.
I feel, go for it.
No, I can tell you, like, back at Hurricanes, we actually brought growlers to Hurricanes. Like, so Matt from Tequesta Brewing Company from TBC came to visit for a tap takeover.
Right.
He was like, you can sell growlers too. And I was like, what?
What?
And so we went through the licensing, and we got the ability to start selling growlers. And like the Hurricanes franchise now, or previously, started doing growlers. But it's kind of an end that no longer is a
I feel
thing.
like as soon as 64-ounce growlers got legalized, it was just like, and then after the cachet, like the big buzz of crowlers, it's just kind of like,
It was kind of the COVID time.
Yeah.
COVID for
what
sure.
we saw here.
COVID for sure. COVID was, I wasn't here yet during COVID, but COVID was definitely a point where I think crowlers and growlers, all that stuff was very, very popular. But the problem with me,
it was very easy to drink a gallon of beer.
Yes, because you had nothing to do.
Yeah.
But now it's just like you have to drink that
I was
beer.
working.
You have to drink that growler in a certain amount of days, or it's going to go bad.
Or time, honestly.
Or time,
You don't have days,
whatever, time. And then it goes bad. So, like, why waste the money on that,
Right.
We had really like ramped up efficiencies, and we were canning in-house, and we had kind of like moved into a different realm here at Sailfish around that time.
Right.
So we just saw a natural transition away, and people taking more of the cans.
Taking more cans and less of the,
Yeah.
That's-
We had a lot of times that, almost everything that was on draft was available, or the most of it,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah, it was
We
a
definitely did
natural.
can a lot during that time.
It was a natural transition.
Yeah, the cans are where it's at for sure. A 6-pack, 4-pack.
We even had
Yeah.
special release cans that it was just a
that's
generic
cool.
label, and we were
Handwriting.
handwriting.
Right in what it was.
Watching Harry Potter in
That's
here.
awesome.
Yeah.
Watching Harry
Man,
Potter.
that-
Hey man, shout out Danielle West. We had a great COVID.
that pesky COVID ruined buffets and growlers.
But that's a good point, though. You talk about COVID. I mean, what's changed in this industry post-COVID? On the restaurant retail side of things,
So
craft beer side of things.
I think post-COVID, obviously, I think every place, retail, grocery store, they saw a big spike, huge spike for probably a year or 2 years, or whatever.
Yeah, Florida was the
and-
Wild West during that 2-year span.
Yeah, and I came from a place that before I came here, and I remember talking to the buyers or the suppliers and be like, this is what we do on a Friday night, and they're like, man, that's grocery retail numbers, and this is a restaurant, but they do have 2 kitchens, and it's a big place.
Well, plus you were at an outdoor establishment too.
Yeah,
and that was a big thing in Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got
if you were
huge-
outdoors, you were open.
Yeah. So and then you could slowly. That was the thing. Like it was insane, and plus people still were getting COVID after everyone was allowed to go out. So it's like you're running a place.
Super spreaders,
It's-
baby.
Yeah, super spreaders. Yeah, and this place, you need 80 people to operate it easy, and then you only have 30 people out there running, But I think overall, COVID really opened the doors and made people realize, just don't wear a mask. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
You can edit that out.
What I saw was the emergence of the introverted buyer.
Yeah.
It was, sometimes for, and truth be, I'm somewhat of an introvert. I know.
I want to order everything online.
I know I'm out there, but like to a certain degree, I am
Same.
that. So like I look at like a person who's intimidated to come to a brewery, sit at the bar and try the beer. There's a brewery in Boynton Beach, Novo, and I was working with them as a wholesaler at the time, and I remember them saying, we've done more e-commerce business, like it's overwhelming. They're sitting there filling cans to like 2 in the morning, 6-packs, and one guy went in there and bought $800. Now he had the 800, but he didn't want to come to the brewery and try them. He waited for a time that he could order it online and get it to him, and there's a lot of places that had that. Was there anything similar that you guys were experiencing? I remember you were telling me.
Anniversary party, I delivered beer to that day to everybody. Yeah.
We delivered a lot of beer during that time to pools. That was my preferred place to deliver to, and I said it on the post. We actually hosted one of our anniversary parties, and we put out the Sailfish Tiki to go, and you could put in orders online, or you could come right up, and we just worked the window, and it was like a fantastic anniversary party.
That's great.
Never felt the love like that of people showing up here. I mean, we have a great fan base. We have a great community. We've said it.
Weren't they doing bingo on?
We were doing bingo online.
We did
trivia.
Facebook Live for that
Wow.
one anniversary party too. The band was set up. Yeah.
Oh, we had, and that was the anniversary party. We had musicians that were playing from their home to celebrate our anniversary
that's awesome.
online.
That's cool.
Oh, everything.
Wow.
Bingo,
Yeah.
trivia. It was really cool.
That was, I'm
Such a weird time.
I am not nostalgic for the pandemic. Don't get it twisted. But that was one of the cooler things that you could, like, you just pop on and you see, some of the musicians that you guys had here. That's how I learned about them. Is that they were playing online, like in front of places, and like,
we had them regularly still on like Friday and Saturdays. They would just pop onto our feed and be playing. It was a cool, like, this is your time to be able to enjoy Sailfish, and we're all enjoying it together.
Right.
It was a cool.
Is that the same time where Sailfish as a company ended up taking over the kitchen here?
Yes.
Excellent point there. So
Yeah.
we put the kitchen in about a year and a half, 2 years before COVID actually hit. 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year.
Sorry, 1 year. I'm always wrong. Yeah. So
It's my job.
well, you have the encyclopedia right there.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Taylor keeps
it's just
everybody
one
in
big
line.
blur
Yeah.
of 12 years. But yeah, so before COVID, we had a kitchen. And at the time, legally, you couldn't operate it and sell beer through distribution out the back door or back of our brewery. So we partnered with Scott Van Duzer with Big Outlet Pizza. They're great partners. And they operated the kitchen. We put it up here. COVID hit, and the laws were fluid at that time. I remember we were open, then we closed, we opened, we closed.
Everybody was like that.
understatement.
I took to
Yeah.
I took to
Disaster.
social media and let everybody know how I felt numerous times, and so during that time to be open, people trying to do food trucks, all these. So the law was you have to own and operate the kitchen to be open.
That was
So Scott, great to work with on that. He let us, take over the kitchen from him and just haven't looked back and took that over. I want to say seamlessly. I'm sure it was a tremendous amount of hard work for Taylor and her team at that time to do that. But
Thank
the food,
you, Bridget.
Shout out to B.
yeah. But pizzas are amazing. They changed the whole approach to it. It was just one of the best things that happened out of COVID was that for us.
what
taking
was
over.
that law? Because I remember reading about it. Like you have to
It'd be a restaurant.
like people
was
like they were
hard.
selling food trucks for $1
Well,
to the.
yes.
And
You
still,
had to
like,
be a restaurant, so you had to
Yeah.
go through and actually get your restaurateur's license or the hotel and
Right.
beverage with the EPR up in Tallahassee. Get that actual license. I remember them coming to inspect the place. We had to have the right sinks in the right spots.
the fastest the government has ever worked. Because I remember one day you couldn't get a bag of margaritas from someplace on a Monday,
And the next day
by
they're
Monday
delivering
night,
it to you.
Monday night, getting it delivered. Yeah,
Yeah, what a strange time, and to think back on that time and the things, how we adapted so quickly during that time, and it was just like, what do we got to do to just keep going? But
Because a lot of people didn't make it.
No, for
Yeah.
sure, and a lot of things came out of that too.
Yeah.
Through how busy Florida was for that 2 year period, because it was the only place that was really open in the country, full blast. It was literally the Wild West. And, taking that kitchen over and just, reacting to that so quickly, and then the back and forth, you're open, you're not open, you're open, you're not open. It's like, guys, and no one knew what they were doing at that time. And, not for anybody's fault. You're just trying to figure it out as you go, and it was tough.
So that's the thing. You're a brewery tap room, and now you're in the restaurant business.
They were able to reopen the day I got married. I was across the state, and I got the phone call like, "Hey, just so you know, they came in and they said we can do it."
That was your wedding present.
I was like, yeah.
I was like, "Cool, I'm not there." What do I do?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So
it's exciting time.
Exciting time for you guys at that moment. I'm just thrilled to finally be here. So.
Pre-COVID, we walked around with beer bongs and we were funneling beer at like the beer mile.
That's awesome.
So that's one takeaway that I can tell you is a little different. No one's doing the beer bong anymore.
Yeah. No, I mean, we could still do it. I think we're back to normal.
Ooh, I'm not doing it.
I'm not sharing a boot with any of you guys.
I'm not doing it, but 2019.
I take that
for
to
sure.
heart.
2019, yeah.
Well, I'm out of the 3-liter boot business, that's for sure.
I know Nate will do it.
Yeah. All right, so maybe a controversial thing, but there's a contingent of people that when they come to a brewery, they want to come to a brewery. But then there are people who come here and want to hang out, have wings, and watch the game, right?
Yeah.
Where do you guys sit on that one? I thought it was the coolest thing in the world that Sunday, that picture of like 1,000 people here.
In here for the Dolphins game, right? Thank God we came back and won on that. But, I think it's funny because I was sitting in here, we were talking about a projector. Obviously, Dave had a projector at first, and it was a tiny projector. He got it from Temu or something. And then... But obviously it wasn't going to work. So Dave happened to be in the right spot at the right time for me. So he was like, "Hey, that's not going to work." So next thing you notice, now we have this awesome projector and stuff like that. But as soon as he ordered it, and this is where I'm getting at, he's like, "Man, thank God for Taylor, because if we didn't have her, we'd have a man cave."
Taylor's she's the filter.
The voice of reason.
So the ideas she has, or Gabe has, doesn't ever make it to me, and the ideas I have never makes it to Gabe. So if we're actually left alone to our own devices, this place would be completely different.
You have neon lights everywhere. Like it'd be no. I think overall, people love beer. People love our beer. People love wings and pizza. You know, I think here's a great spot to be able to come here and watch the football game, especially now that we have it hooked up to go through all the speakers. With the projector, too, is even cooler. Like, that Sunday, there's probably close to 100 people here.
Yeah.
I've never seen a whole group of people stand up at one time and cheer, in an establishment. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was an amazing feeling. Not just because I'm a Dolphins fan, but...
That's usually reserved for the Flanagans, the alehouses of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's typically...
You don't see that at a brewery, really. So, it was really cool. We're in a tap room, so it was really cool to see it. And I'm always game for it. We don't have the ticket, so we offer whatever's the local channel game.
Right.
So I can't promise you every single game, you know what I mean? But that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to be that spot where it's like, where we have people fighting the next hour because the Ravens beat whoever or the Jets actually won.
Well,
or
the Ravens haven't
Giants
beaten anybody
won,
yet. They're the Giants.
Yeah. So, like, it's just like I don't want to be that spot. But, it's cool to have. It really is. It's fun to watch it here. We make it fun, too. Even with that big group, we were doing, like, giveaways on every quarter, like a $10 gift card, and then, so I love it, and I think it's great. So.
Well, that's a big testament, too. I mean, you talk about the experience and the team you guys have in place here just absolutely kill it.
Yeah.
And people they can rely on that. They come here. Majority of people have been with us for a decent amount of time, and everybody knows everybody, and you guys' team operates very well. I mean,
they do.
You guys show
really
up
do
and
a
do a
good
great
job.
job. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was just telling Taylor, we just did the Fort Pierce CrossFit party here this last Saturday, and they legitly brought over 100 people here. We had the food out. We were staffed, and the guy came to me and he's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like, this is the best service we ever gotten. The food was amazing, and like to hear that, honestly, all the stress, the sweat, the
goes away.
And it's like I appreciate that very much. And I made sure everybody knew about it as well.
Oh, for sure.
And even down to the band that we had the night before, the guy called me and goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like, we've never been treated so right, well before as a band, because band members walk in." They ignore them for
Was that the band you guys had Thursday or Friday night?
Friday night. Yeah,
Awesome band.
Yeah,
by the way.
awesome band.
Yeah, awesome band.
3 o'clock storm.
Yeah, out of Vero Beach. Yeah, they were great.
They were
Yeah.
awesome. And he actually went out of his way to call me to tell me, like, hey, like, you know, the way your staff treated us and took care of us, made sure we had drinks, water, whatever, beer, and he goes, I just want to let you know, please pass that along. So I did. So, but yeah, no, it really does. It comes down to the people you have on your team.
All-star crew.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so coming up, we have Oktoberfest is the next big event.
Yep.
After that, we have Night of the Thirsty Dead.
Yes.
So
Dueling
recapping here,
pianos and
Oktoberfest is October 12th.
Yep.
Block party all day. Oh, I'm sorry, from 11 till what? Or 12 to
12 to 11.
12 to 11.
12 to 11. Night of the Thirsty Dead is 6 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock until
11
judging's at
o'clock
11.
is judging. Yep.
Okay, great
Judging.
time.
And then we'll be
Great.
doing cleanup around 2 a.m. and anyone is welcome that would like to stay.
Yes.
I'll be in my,
volunteer list. We'll give you a 6-pack of beer. That's
If
what
you guys want to hang out and help, you can see Barf from Spaceballs helping with the cleanup.
And you'll also see Barf probably too.
More than likely.
I skipped over it, but the Toast on the Treasure Coast.
Toast to the Treasure Coast.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
September
good one.
Awesome
25th.
event.
That's next Wednesday.
Very intimate in the tap room here. These guys put on a great show. You can taste some great beer. You can eat some great food.
Tickets are
and,
still
and
available.
it's a real competition. These guys, every restaurant, including this, my staff, we're actually partnered with Vero Beach, but
Do not take credit for that dish, Gabe.
I'm
Do
not going
not
to.
eat
I'm not. But go sailfish. That's all. So we're gonna win. Thank you.
Man is planting the
Shout out
seeds.
to Ryan.
Planting the seeds for Soup War.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
So
I was just having that
I'm going
conversation.
to digress for a second. Soup War is one of those things that we neglected to talk about.
Yes.
But I'm really glad you brought that
War?
up, Brian. So
I'm 0 for 2. That's why.
Taylor, please lead the conversation and
Yes.
explain to me what Soup War is, how long ago we started that, and what it is now.
All right, so Soup War is going to be in its 5th or 6th year this year. It begins as an internal staff competition for who makes the best soup at Sailfish Brewing Company. We show up in December with 1 crock pot of soup per person, and then it's an internal contest to see whose wins. Top 4 people move on to January, where we invite the customers to see who makes the best soup. You pair your soup with a beer. The staff member has to make 10 gallons of.
Yeah, 10 gallons.
It's not just like this is luck and I made a good soup. It's like you are crafting perfection. You pair that soup with a beer, and then the winner of that gets a 1-night stay at Vero Beach Hotel,
Shout out to Marco.
a gift certificate to Solmar Cocktail Lounge, and to Sailfish Vero Beach.
Yes.
It is a fantastic prize package that I have never won.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again? Thank you.
So have
I'm
you
not
won it a
bragging.
few times, Gabe?
No, I've won it one time. Charlie.
With pickle soup.
Yeah, I had a pickle sausage soup. It took me about 5 hours to make. But yeah, we finally got it down, and when I took that victory, baby, I was just super excited. Shout out to
I cut the
Publix.
corn off of the cob.
Yeah,
Like
Taylor went hardcore. I just got pickles from Publix, some sausage, and made a fantastic soup. So thank you. Shout out to the team.
There were 4 lasagna soups this year.
Oh yeah, lasagna soup.
Don't do trendy.
I talk
Who
so
won? Oh,
much.
Charlie. Charlie won this year.
I
Yeah.
talk so much. I'm like, guys, I made a lasagna soup Super Bowl next year. Smoking all you guys.
Dude,
And
Charlie's-
mine was the worst out of all.
No, yours was good. Yeah. Okay. Next, but no, I'm just kidding, Brian. Yours was good. Yours
We
was good.
practice these soups. Like people that get into this competition, you'll have multiple times a year that people bring up Soup War
Right.
because, I mean, the prize package is fantastic, and I hope that you really enjoyed.
Oh, I did. I had a great time at the Kimpton. I went to their dining room, their restaurant, Cobalt, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I went there, had a good time. The room was fantastic. Went to Solmar, used that gift card. Went to Vero Beach, used that gift card. It was a fun time. It's well worth it, and I think it's great. So, yeah.
Honestly,
No,
if I
I-
just get the trophy.
Well, the thing is, it's like I try to explain that to people like in my waking life. My dad makes this soup for Christmas with like lump crab and like basically you get gout by the end. It's the most expensive soup in the world. He's like, why don't you just make that? I go, yeah, I gotta make 10 gallons of it, Bob.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
And so the Saturday when you guys release that, it's in January,
Yeah.
correct? come early because every time I've actually tried to show up for it,
Sells out.
by 2 o'clock it's sold out.
Sells
Man,
out.
and
So-
the people come from everywhere,
Yeah.
you know, and then they'll critique you and they'll tell you, like, even though you're the guy scooping the soup, like, listen, this one needs a little more salt. This one needs this. But it's awesome to see them here waiting on the patio to be able to come inside just to try the soup. It's
A flight of soup.
It is,
soup,
you know,
yeah.
earlier either one of you were asking like the difference in craft beer over the years, right? And we were talking about beer versus like experience, right? So years ago we lined up for beer. And,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that doesn't happen anywhere anymore, but people are lining up for experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
You know,
good
they
point.
want that
That's
next
awesome,
thing.
yeah.
So
Yeah, your guys' cupcake pairing has always been really
Cupcake
nice.
flight.
the bacon
Vero
pairing,
Beats,
man.
Vero Beats kills it in the flights,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right, so to recap again, we have Toast on the Treasure Coast
Yep.
coming up September
25th.
25th.
Tickets available.
Tickets available. After that, we have Oktoberfest, October 12th,
Yes.
from 12 to when we close.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Night of Thirsty Dead, October 26th, from 7 to 11. After that, we have Beer Mile, November 10th. Yeah,
Sunday, November 10th.
Sunday,
benefiting Loggerhead Marine Life Center.
Yes. Save the
What am I
turtles.
skipping over next? What's next?
Then we go into Soup War, and then we go into
Season.
St. Patrick's.
season. Yeah, St. Patrick's
Season.
Day. Yeah.
Soup War, then St. Patrick's
Day,
Day.
yeah.
Anniversary party.
Anniversary party,
And then-
that goes into summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
so.
but in the meantime, this place looks like a Target during holiday season.
Oh, yeah, it gets
Between
loud.
Halloween, Christmas, I mean, there's a 30-foot skeleton that hangs out in the corner like on October 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
one thing too we skipped over is the amount of preparation for these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This tap room transforms into whatever season it's in.
Yes. So and we start that very soon.
It
2
will
weeks.
absolutely
Yeah.
take 20 plus hours
There's-
of people, you know, collaboratively working together to transition this tap room for Halloween. Oktoberfest is obviously a little bit faster, but
Right.
Halloween
Halloween
and
is
Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
We have an idea for this year for Christmas that might help us speed up the process.
Yes.
We are talking about doing a Christmas tree decorating contest with both
Ah.
our staff and like our Mug Club members and see who wants to decorate and like, I mean, honestly, take the tree.
I just
Yeah.
think keep the Halloween decorations up and just put like Santa Claus suits on them.
That's so
like
weird
that-
because Emily actually made this argument already.
Oh, yeah?
Have you guys been
No.
talking? Oh. Emily's podcast, she channeling my inner Emily. She was like, Corey needs to be up now. He should be
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
our
No, she's
Corey.
already
Corey.
on me about decorating
Yes.
for Halloween. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's September.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're
My bathroom is already decorated for Halloween at my house.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, especially with the new lift. I can get it done a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
now, so that lift is my
Shout
baby.
out.
I
Yeah,
feel like
shout out
there's
to the lift.
that new attraction every year that somehow it's like one year there was this enormous like octopus tentacle, and then the year after that there's like the giant guy, and then you had
But
like
that's
a
a-
zo-
Have
you
you
had a
been
zombie-
upstairs lately? There's a UFO up
Yeah,
there.
no,
I was about to
there was
say
a
the
zombie.
UFO.
You had a zombie band.
Yeah,
I was
oh,
walking up
yeah.
and like yeah.
They're up there retired,
These
but they're
things
coming
that
down.
these guys, especially for Halloween, the stuff Taylor specifically built. She'll send me pictures in her garage. Look what I built today. I'm like, that's awesome. Like,
Well,
Like, what are you doing?
You go upstairs and you go looking around. I'm like, yeah, I got to find like some event glassware and some other, and like there's this enormous apple.
I
Yeah,
am
oh, the
very
apple.
blessed to be able to store things upstairs
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
Sailfish.
Well, it's so random. It's like okay, taxidermied antelope,
Yeah,
UFO.
Can somebody
Bongo.
explain about that antelope that's upstairs right now?
Bongo is here because of Nick Bischoff,
okay.
stepfather. No, father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
His father-in-law brought him here to store him when we first opened, and he
Never came back
lives
for it.
there. Yes.
Oh, there's this. I don't know if I want to say the name of the place, but there's this place in Fort Lauderdale. It's a huge like an event space. It's like a catering company / event space. Like it's gigantic. People have like their proms there. And I was working for a company that we held our end of year like educational for the OND, as people in the trade would call it. And I remember walking the property like, yeah, we can do this here, this there. You walk, it's all taxidermy. And think like he had
The room of death.
he had a rhino. He had like all these insane exotic animals, bobcats, panthers, all taxidermy. Freaked me out. It was a dark room.
Yeah.
Okay, no one told me that he had a live cat back there too. So we're making our way. We're walking like he has like this office in the back, and we're walking away, and she's up jumping across some shit. I'm like, Get me out of here.
That's
Why
what
are we
my
doing this?
nightmares
Yeah.
are made of.
So when Dave brought me up there for the first time, I'm like, oh, a funny story. Like, yeah. I'm not spending
Initiation.
any time up here.
Yeah,
Initiation.
that is initiation going up
No,
there
for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah.
Absolutely
Galilea's
wild.
taking her trip upstairs today.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Good
we'll see
luck
if
to
she
her.
comes back.
Good
Yeah.
luck to her.
I'm just kidding.
Well, guys, thanks again for being on today.
Yeah.
Huge, kudos to the great operation you guys run here. The staff's amazing. Kudos to our Mug Club members who have been with us since the beginning
Yes.
and have been championing our success to this point and beyond. And it's been nice. I was in the tap room the other day, and a couple Mug Club members came up to me and was just saying how great the podcast is and how glad we're doing this. And it's just nice to hear that feedback. The hard work that goes into this stuff, hearing people say, like, wow, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So, again, thanks for being on, telling us a little about what goes into these events and how challenging it is. But they're great put on. Everybody loves it, and that hard work definitely pays off. And people, have come to look forward to these events every year. And like Gabe said, planning their schedules around it. So
Yeah, they really do.
You guys are running a top-notch operation here, so really appreciate that. And you guys are the reason the culture is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Glad to be part of it. Glad to work with Taylor. She's awesome.
Glad to work with Gabe.
Yeah.
Yeah, really appreciate both you guys.
Yeah.
So.
And Tori.
And Tori.
And Tori.
Yes.
So, Brian, any last words here, Coke Captain?
Right here.
Not really anything. It's just it is an absolute. I've worked in a lot of places, and to know that the largest element of it, the people's first interaction of this brewery, is you guys. That does so much for me in the trade. It goes so much for our wholesale partners. If they're coming in here, I know they're going to be taken care of.
Yep.
Because you guys are here.
Yeah.
It is such a relief. And for anyone who's just, in the Palm Beach County area or whatever, don't wait for the Bright Line. It's really nice. That hour and 20-minute drive from south to here is super easy. If you want to lose 4 hours of your life on a weekend and not even know you lost 4 hours, come to this location.
No, for
You're
sure.
going to get taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a great
Appreciate
spot.
that,
And discover downtown Fort Pierce as well, too.
Yeah.
Definitely
There's a
seen
lot
that
to
grow
do.
in a positive way the past 12 years. So, all right, guys. Well, that concludes today. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, cheers.
Hey, we made it.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for being on today.
The best. Awesome.
Cheers, guys.
Man, I'm glad that we didn't take it to another location. It was really freaking close.
That was fun. Yeah.
Man, you guys crushed it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate
no
the time today.
Oh,
Yeah. Great job.
Was that like 3 hours?
Hour and 10 minutes.
Nice. Good talk.